So I'm going to put our validate anti-forgery token back. Mike had a great suggestion that'll help us fix that. So I'm going to go back and re-enable it. It does work without it, but it is a good idea. So if I put my validate anti-forgery token back on the method, we can change our form tag by using the ASP controller and ASP actions. And I would need to do this in both the browse page and the product details page. If I re-enable the anti-forgery checking to prevent cross-site scripting attacks, in my browse form, if I change this to ASP action equals add to cart, and I can add ASP controller equals shop. That's a great suggestion. Thank you, Mike. And then I'm going to do the same thing on my product details page. And I copy my form tag. And I'm going to replace the form tag. Well, actually, I want to keep my offset here. So I'll just, again, make the same change. ASP action is just going to say add to cart. And ASP controller will be shop. I'm going to try that again. Kevin, which page are you getting the error on? I'm going to just go back and try that again now. So I'll refresh.
I'm getting it in a shop controller on lines 57 and 80. Like var customer ID equals get customer ID, and if this session gets during customer ID, it is null.
So which line in my file would that be equivalent to?
That would be one line below for you, I think, for both things.
So down here, you're getting an error?
Yeah, line 81, and I believe line like 58 or something.
And when you mouse over the error, what does it tell you?
Oh, I'm getting the error in the browser.
And what does the error say?
Oh, it's just showing me the lines where the errors could exist. It just says invalid operation exception. Session has not been configured for this application request.
Okay, so
it's showing me lines.
Okay, so let's go back to startup and check your configure and configure. So in configure services, you have this line, services.add session.
Line 48, just need to, yeah, I have that.
And is it before the add controller with views?
Yeah.
Okay. And then down here, you've got use session, and I think it may need to go before the use endpoints.
Oh shit! I forgot the brackets for the method.
Okay. All right. So just put those in, and you should be good to go.
Hopefully, let's see.
So I'm going to try and add to my cart again now. Okay, so it seems to work now that and notice when I restart my application, you get a new session ID. So the session gets destroyed if you restart the server. So anytime you save a change and build, it'll give me a new session ID. So now we can save to cart properly. So the last thing we're going to do today is just build our cart page. So after we add to cart, we're redirecting, but right now we just get a blank screen. We don't have this cart method. So I'm going to create it. So this will be get/shop/cart. So in this method, we want to get the current user shopping cart, all the items, and load a cart view and pass it. So get items in current user's cart, display a view, and pass the items for display. So we can just run a simple query here, context.carts.where. So we're going to filter for our customer ID. Right? We don't want everyone's shopping cart, just this particular customer. And we can use our session variable, http context.session.getString customer ID. And we'll just convert this to a list. So this is going to get all of the objects in the shopping cart for the current user. And then we'll return a view and we'll just pass in the list of products in their cart, the list of items in the cart. That will include the product ID, the quantity, the price. So there's our method. We will need to modify it a little bit in a minute, as you'll see. Just paste it in here. But we should only have to make one small change, I think. So I'll put the link in the chat to the current version of the method. Just query the database, load a view called cart, and pass it. Now we can use scaffolding to create this page, and then we'll just customize it a bit. So I'll go, and this is the last thing we'll do today. I'll go to my shop, and I'm going to add a new view. I don't want an empty view. I want a razor view. So pick razor view, not the razor view empty, and click add. The name of our view will be cart. The template is going to be a list. So this will generate a loop and display a table with each one of our cart items in a new row. The model we're going to use is our cart model. And our data context will be our usual application DB context, and our layout, same as always. We're making a new view called cart using the list template and the cart model. So this should give us a working cart page. It isn't going to be beautiful, but it'll be functional. So let's add it. We'll see what we get when we put something in the cart now. We'll put a couple items in, and then we can make a few adjustments to it, and we'll pause for today. So here's our page. We get a table with headings. And then we get a for each loop that displays all the items in our model. And our model is declared as IEnumerable of type cart. That's because we picked a list when we scaffold it. So let's go back and try this. I haven't made any changes to it. So now I'm going to add something to my cart. I'll add a few items to the cart. So I'm going to add one blue Oxford shirt, which it adds. Notice my product name is empty. So Mike, this was related to what we were talking about earlier about showing the parent category. I'll go and add something else. I'll go and buy a couple of sweaters. So it's functional, which is good. Looks pretty bad. And it's not very helpful. What changes should we make to this page? Should take us maybe 5-10 minutes to clean this page up. How would we fix it? Yeah, okay, so this is the unit price. Yeah, the customer ID. Yeah, let's change the customer ID. Yep, Jillian, Kevin, the product name we've got to include, and we probably want both the name and the image, I think. Do we need to show the date created here in the cart? Does customer need that? No, I don't think so. What about some of the links here? What should we do with some of the links? Yeah, delete we might actually keep, because we could remove it from the, we could have a remove from cart method. We won't get into it today, but we might keep delete, but let's get rid of create new, edit, and details. And yeah, we want to keep a running total as our loop's going. We should be keeping a running total so we can display it at the bottom. And then, as I think Jeffrey mentioned earlier, we'll probably want to keep shopping in a checkout link. So let's just make these changes in the view, and then we'll stop for today. We need to change one thing in the controller method, because you notice our product name is empty. So if we look here, we've got item.product.name, but there's no value showing up here. So let's tweak our controller query to first populate the product names, and then we'll clean up the other items in the UI. So in our shop controller, in order to also get access to the parent, yeah, you could, Jillian, that's going to be a little more involved, so I'll probably skip that, but yes, you could do it so you could update it. In a real cart, we would. I think we'll just have add, and if we have time for remove, we'll do remove maybe next week. So our product names show up in our query, we need to include the parent object, which is our c.product. By adding this into the middle of our query, our product names should get populated. So you can see the new code highlighted here. Add this into your query. I'm going to have to shop again because it's going to kill my session. So my cart will be empty. So I'll go and put something else in. So now my product name shows up. So you can see the difference that adding that include makes. The product names were blank until I added this include. So this query line, I'll throw it in the chat. Whoops. So we don't have access to the parent object unless we explicitly call include. So make sure you add this to your query. Method is done now. Just these two lines are sufficient. Close some things up. So let's make a few other changes on our cart page. Up at the top, I'll just change the headings to say your cart. And I'm going to get rid of this section that has the little create new link. Instead of create new, we'll add a keep shopping link button down at the bottom. I'll add a couple classes to my table as well. Table-striped, table-hover. I'm going to get rid of the customer ID and date created columns. We don't need those. I want to make the product, I think Jillian suggested this, I want to make that the first column. The first thing the user should see is the name of the product in the cart. I'm just going to make that my first column. I'm also going to add a blank column with no heading beside it. So just an empty set of TH tags, so we can display the image thumbnail next to the product. Doesn't really need a heading. We don't need a heading that says image. And now inside my loop, I'm going to do similar things. I'm going to get rid of my customer ID. We don't need to display it. I'm going to get rid of date created. Don't need to display that. I'm actually going to create one other heading in the top. We'll say TH item total. I think, Sierra, this is what you were suggesting, perhaps, if I understood. So for each item, we're showing the quantity and the price. Let's show the total. So if I buy more than one, I think that's a good idea. I'm going to move my name to be the first column. In the second column, we can display the image as a thumbnail if we have one. So we can use if item dot product dot image does not equal null. We'll display the image. We use our thumbnail class. Otherwise, we'll display our placeholder thumbnail instead. We've got quantity and price. I'm going to add one more column where we can display item.quantity times item.price. Let me just put these in brackets. So that'll give us a subtotal. Oops. And I'm going to take out the edit and details links. And on the action, I'm going to change that from delete to remove from cart. We're not going to write this method today. So let's have a look at that. I know I've made a bunch of changes. We're going to make a few more as well. My heading says your cart, and my page title. I've added some Bootstrap classes to my table tags. We've made the product column first. We've added a second an empty column for the image. And our fifth column now says item total. We're displaying the product name first, then the image or the placeholder, and then we're calculating the line item price. And we've removed create new, edit, and details. Let's check this out. I'm going to have to put something new in the cart. I also want to format the prices as currency and do a running total. We're almost there. We're not going to write a remove from cart method today. So let me put a few things in the cart. One of these. And a pair of those. Okay, so it's not bad, right? The other thing we should do is let's make the product names links that go back to the product details page. This is a useful feature in a cart. Before someone checks out, maybe they just want to check the product one more time and make sure it's the right thing. So we can make these links to product details. Most carts will do this. I also want to right align. Our numeric values shouldn't be left aligned, they should be right aligned. So I want to right align these three headings and these three columns. Add the link, calculate the running total, and add a couple buttons at the bottom. So bear with me just a few more minutes and we're finished. And then I'll push all of this. To make our product names links, I'm going to do this. ASP controller equals products, and ASP action equals details. I'll move my closing tag here, and I need to put my server-side @ symbol. We also need the parameter. ASP root -ID will be @item product ID. So now we can click on a product name. It's going to take us to the details page. And the cool thing about that little JavaScript back is if we click it, it'll take us back to the shopping cart. When we're on our store page and we go into our details, click back, it takes us back to that page. So I'll put this up in the chat. I'll try it again. So this should turn my product names into links. Bear with me, just a few more changes. So I'll shop. This time I'll pick one with an actual photo. So now if I want to look at the product, I click it, jumps me in here, and when I click back, it uses JavaScript to just take me to the previous page. Something else. I'm going to right align these three columns. We'll deal with the total and the currency. So for my quantity, price, and item total, I'm going to add class equals text-right to all three of these. Both in my heading, in my TH tags, as well as to the three TD tags below. That's going to align all these columns to the right, which is better since they display numeric values. I also want to format the price and subtotal as currency. So we can use our string.format. With our wonky currency. I'm going to use it here too. With an extra closing bracket because we're calling we're doing math, and then we're formatting it. So this will align all the numeric values to the right and format all of our currency values properly. Don't worry if you're a bit behind. I'm going to push all of this to GitHub in a minute. So all these numbers should get formatted and right aligned. So now we're currency. Right, so everything's aligned to the right. Our delete doesn't work yet, that's okay. So now we can keep a running total and build a little footer where we can display the total at the bottom along with a couple of buttons, a keep shopping and a checkout. So up at the top, I'm going to declare a variable called total, and I'll initialize it to 0. So that can just go up here inside this server block. We'll create a total variable, and then as we go through our loop, we can multiply for every item, multiply the quantity and the price together, and add it to our running total, which we can then display at the bottom of the table. So inside my for each, we'll say total plus equals item quantity times our item dot price. So put that really anywhere inside the loop. It doesn't have to go on the first line, anywhere inside this for each. And then after our loop, outside our closing curly brace, we can create a new row. So how many columns do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We want the title to show in our 5th column here. So we'll do TD call span equals 5 and class equals text right. And in here, we'll show our total as currency. And I'm going to put 2 buttons beside it. So in our last column, we'll have ASP action equals index. No problem. Yeah, we're almost done. And all the code will be on GitHub. So keep shopping. That'll take us back to the main shopping page. Whoops, missed a quote there. And our other link, which we'll build next week, is checkout. So here's our footer row. I'll try it. I think we should be good. Fingers crossed, our total shows up as currency and 2 links to keep shopping and checkout. Put a couple items in the cart. Hopefully things are running as we need them to be. And then I'll have to run. I actually have a department meeting that started 4 minutes ago. So I'll buy a sweater. So it totals. I click keep shopping. I can buy a couple of shirts. And now it's given me the full total, which is where we want it to be. So our cart page is basically finished. We haven't done the remove from cart. I'm going to leave that for now. We'll see if we have time to do it. We might not. Okay, so we did quite a bit today. We've made really good progress in terms of being able to add to cart and build the shopping experience. So next week, we want to be able to check out, do a payment, and create an order. Okay, so we'll work on that So you do have a quiz this week, and then I look forward to seeing your assignments next Tuesday. Okay, I've got to run. If you need help, please book an office hours appointment or send me an email, and I will get back to you. Don't struggle too long if you're having a problem. Please reach out. Have a great week, and I will see all of you next week.